not gonna lie to you. I don't play football, never played football, wasn't really my sport. I was a band geek, you know what I'm saying? I was like the lead drum major, band city director. I played trumpet since I was like in 5th grade. So, you know, football, I loved it. I loved to watch it, you know what I'm saying? But one of my biggest fears was that exact moment that he went through. When I had the ability to have the willpower to keep going, I had to figure out what's my why. Like, why do I push myself? Why do I do what I do? And that's something that I wanted you all to think about. And every time I asked about mission or asked you a question, I was trying to figure out and see, you know, what promotes you to ask or say a certain question or give a certain answer. You know, and see, like, if you had your own university, if you had things that you got to control, what would you want it to say? What would you want it to do? Right? When we did the building of a university, your own university together, you were building a legacy. Right? That's what happens. We build a legacy. And so we have to think about that. And so when it comes to your final paper, we have 4 questions that I said that you were supposed to answer, right? And the 4 questions came down to ideal, lifestyle, the cost of it, how will you earn it, and last but not least, your legacy. 4 questions, right? But that's not the true final paper. When I gave you that, I knew that wasn't the final paper, right? I knew it. And the reason I did that is because I wanted you to answer those questions. Because if you don't know what you're going for, if you don't have a mission, you're just driving down the road hoping that you get somewhere, hoping that you're able to do something. Hopefully, you're just hoping and hoping and hoping. I don't need you to have hope, I need you to have faith. I don't need you to have sight, I need you to have vision. I want you to be able to create what you see in your mind. But I don't want you to go through college like most of my friends who are sitting there watching college. They didn't go to college, they watched college. And I don't mean that in like a way that like, oh yeah, they're like at home not doing anything. No, they were here. They were in classes, but they were just going through the motions. They were just sitting in the river, watching the river flow, rather than being a boat and demanding where they want to go. Upstream, downstream, across, and back. So I want you to understand the golden circle, because the golden circle is your actual true final paper. Your final paper will be the golden circle in 1 page. No spaces. Right? So this is important. So you want to write down these instructions so that you can actually remember it. And you have your vision book. Right? I was very intentional about calling your vision books. And the reason there's no blank pages is because that's what life is. Remember that from the first day. Life is a blank page. It's what you write on it. So everything that we did in this class, we talked about human capital, knowledge, passions, talents, and skills, came down to the fact that you need to know who you are, you need to know who you want to become, and you have to be willing and able at any moment to sacrifice who you are for what you will become. And that's how you'll be able to become successful. Not only at Drexel University, but you will impart upon you the characteristics that you need in order to achieve in any environment that you go through. Why do we follow leaders? They're confident, they're assertive, they're enthusiastic. At least be that for yourself. That's why you are the CEO of yourself. Because you need to be assertive, confident, and enthusiastic about your life. If you act casual, you will be a casualty. And I won't watch you die like I've watched many students have to die. Not that they died physically, but spiritually, mentally, intellectually. You have a lot in you and you have to recognize it, because no matter what, I used to tell people, yo, my name is Professor Miles and I'll take you the distance. I didn't know it was a lie then, but it became a lie later. And the reason why is because no matter how much I drag you, no matter how far I pull you, if you don't want to go, then you won't go. You have to go the distance. I can't take you. I can show you the road, but it might not be the road for you. That's what I realized. I realized that while we're in this class. Because I realized I can't force you to do anything. You have to choose to do it. Or you're already programmed to do it. So your final paper is the golden circle and explaining in 1 page your golden circle. So what is the golden circle? Simon Sinek created the golden circle. So Simon Sinek is a business consultant. Google him. He has an 18-minute TED Talk that explains this better than anything else. You can also buy the book. If you want to, that's fine. But most importantly, you can watch that 18-minute TED Talk, and I'll probably give you everything you need to know. What he says in the TED Talk is that most companies, he says it as far as companies, but remember, you are a corporation. If you forgot why you're a corporation is a word. In that word, we have the word corp. Corp is Latin for the word corpus. Corpus is a body. All it means is body. You were born with one. Check. Every business has an EIN number, employee identification number. What is your employee identification number? Your social security number. Okay? Check. Every company has a title. What is your title? Your name. Mine is Miles Rashaad Goodloe. Boom. Right? But you can apply meaning to anything that you have in life. You can apply meaning to anything you have in life, including your life. I took my name, Miles Rashaad. Miles is an old Germanic language that translates into Milo. In Milo, it means soldier or strong servant of. Rashaad is Arabic, and it stands for wisdom or righteousness. When you put Miles Rashaad together, it becomes soldier of righteousness or servant of wisdom. Depending on which day, you can catch which one I am. Today, I'm in soldier mode. And I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight for everything I want in my life, and I'm ready to fight for everybody that I believe in. And that includes you all. Because I've seen the greatness. I've heard the conversations. Even your smart, funny remarks are still next level. Outside of the milkshakes at... Where restaurant was that? Shake Shack?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Shake Shacks and Chick-fil-A. Right? So I want to explain the Golden Circle the best I can in like a couple minutes. Watch the TED Talk, 18 minutes and like 17 seconds, right? Simon Sinek, Golden Circle, TED will take you right there on Google. First 3 spots, right? Go for the 18-minute one. There's like a 9-minute one, a 5-minute one, like a 20-minute one, 18 minutes, right? Maybe it's 16, maybe it's 19, but you know what I'm saying, more than 15 minutes, right? So he says most companies know what they do, they know how they do. Most companies, everybody knows what they do. Sometimes the leadership will know how they do it. Usually only the person who founded and owns the company knows why they do it, right? For example, I have a whole bunch of really cool computers. They do more things than you can ever believe of. Games, you can create your own websites in seconds. It's really cool. It has everything that you freaking need. And all you'll have to do is work with our apps. Our apps are really user-friendly. You'll get them, you'll use them, they'll be amazing, and now you can do things on the computer that you never even did before, because you should be able to do that. It's cool. Tie. I might buy those computers. Almost. Maybe. Could be a gift for somebody else. I don't know. But in everything we do, we defy the status quo. It's because we believe that every single person actually can be exceptional. They shouldn't have to be the status quo. We just happen to build great computers. Want a Bible? Yes! Yes, you do! You're much more into it because of the why. I told you the why first, not what. When you talk to people, explain your why. And you'll find the people that you're supposed to be around that help you build your $1 million dream. Or just fund your ideal lifestyle and make it happen, because it won't happen alone. Teamwork makes the dream work. I know in school they say you get a grade, so you have to do all the work. It's a lie when you get to the real life. You can't use a textbook to figure out the answer. It's a lie when you get to real life. You can't Google this in the middle of class on your phone to figure out the answer. That's a lie in real life. In no scenario where a piece of paper and you being able to write and make something sound great on a test from full memory ever be real. But the results will be real, right? In school you fail, and that's horrible. You won't have a chance to succeed again. It's the reason why I had not one actual assignment this entire quarter, because I wanted you all to fail at thinking critically, right? Just like Paulo Freire was talking about that, problem-posed education. I have to bank you all today because I have so much to say. I'm just going to get it out. But you have to be able to critically think in the world and work with people. No one does anything by themselves. Martin Luther King didn't march to Birmingham solo, right? The Million Man March had 1 million people in it. That's why they called it the Million Man March. This is a nation and a government because we have all these people on all this land. That's really what happens. So when you're thinking of something and you know your why, you can figure out what to do. You have an app idea, there's plenty of people who can build an app. But will their why match yours? And if it does, then staying up to 4 a.m. to make that app real is nothing. When they only have the skills, they want to be out by 5 p.m. So, I'll take you through this. I'm talking to my friend. He says to me, Miles, my mom ate 1 meal a day throughout all of high school, his high school experience, so that he could eat 3. And he starts crying. My why? So that there doesn't have to be hungry mothers in the world. I don't want hungry mothers in the world. I don't want my friends crying before me, talking about how they can't feed their mother now that they're grown and out of college, right? I don't want anyone to say that to me ever again. I'm not going to just move away to some affluent neighborhood to make it happen. I'm going to actually make something happen because of that. I'm tired of that. I've seen so much of that. It's too much that it burns me and it bothers me. I've had students drop out in my office. Miles, I'm a second year, I have $100,000 in loans. I got to leave Drexel. I can't do it. Thank you. It's been great. And all I can say is you have a 3.8. I can't do anything about it. I can't do anything about the money. That's why I work in finance at night. Because I'm like, I need to know how money works so that I can bring that back to my schools and bring that to hungry mothers. I can make money and pass it out, but that hasn't worked as an effective tool yet. We've seen so many philanthropists that are wealthy. Bill and Melinda Gates. That still hasn't solved the problem. That's a Band-Aid on something that needs surgery. I have a broken arm, you put a Band-Aid on it, kiss my, thank you. But go away. Right? So what's my why? Hungry mothers. Dropouts because of finance, not because of a lack of knowledge, right? How am I going to be able to feed hungry mothers, right? Well, I have to be able to make myself valuable. So I educate, I use poetry, right? I use schools, I use books, I use finance, and I use people. It's life, it's teamwork, dream work. So how? I'm working with people. How? I'm educating people and mothers on how they can do better. How? I use poetry because it helps to soothe my soul. How? I use schools because schools are literally like my professional expertise. Books, I read books and I figure out what I can do. That's how I get mentorship. I talk to people who write books, right? And how do I talk to them? I read their book, right? And I use finance. People who have money know money. People who work at Foot Locker have shoes. People who work at schools know a bunch of things, right? So you know what you do all the time. It overlaps. It's okay. What? So what does that look like? When I'm talking educating, it's talking teaching, right? Talking speeches. I'll be in Los Angeles in April giving a speech to a scholarship group. I can't wait. It was a scholarship group. I was one of the first recipients to ever get the scholarship. Right now I have a chance to go back and give them some knowledge. I'm so happy about that. But I'm getting paid for that. Right? And I'll be able to use that money how I want to. Right? So much so I'm starting my own scholarship to help for those kids who dropped out. Finance, I do advising. I'm doing financial advising and also doing academic advising, right? I want to be in this space where I want to help people. And it continues and it continues and continues and continues and continues. I can continue to fill it out, right? This is just my example, right? So in everything I do, I have to ask myself, will this help the hungry mothers and their sons, the ones that are crying because they can't feed anyone but they're in college? Will it help the mothers feed themselves? I have a phrase. My name is Miles Rashaad Goodloe. I'm here to eradicate poverty of the mind, body, and soul. That's my goal. So I ask myself, will this help me eradicate poverty of the mind, body, and soul? Yes, yes, yes. All three will be great. Sometimes I gotta do one. Right now, I'm here to feed your mind. That's what I focus on. That's what I concentrate on. And that's what I'm here to do. And so I want you to be able to reflect back on what your tangible goals are. But use the golden circle to figure out how can you actually say that to someone, right? How can you really know who you are and say that and communicate that to someone? Why do I do what I do? How do I do what I do? What do I do? Those are probably the best questions you can ask yourself to answer this, right? Why do I do what I do? How do I do what I do? What do I do? Why do I do what I do? Because of the hungry mothers. How do I do what I do? I educate. I use poetry. I use books. So what do I do with that? I teach. I give speeches, and I advise. I came here and said, look, I'm a great teacher. I can give amazing speeches, and I promise you that I'll be able to advise anyone that you put in front of me. I can do so because I can educate people. I have the ability to understand finance. I can read a book and communicate it to anybody, no matter where they are. And all that because I want to be able to feed hungry mothers. They're like, oh, that's kind of cool. But I say, in everything I do, I'm trying to feed hungry mothers by eradicating poverty of the mind, body, and soul. So therefore, I have to figure out what the body needs, and that calls finances. I have to figure out what the mind needs, and that's books. I have to figure out what the soul needs, and that's poetry. And I use all of that to be able to present myself as a teacher, as an advisor, as a poet, and as a speaker. It's much more powerful. It's much more captivating. And the reason that you need to be able to be powerful and captivating is because you need to be awesome! Life is great when you're awesome! You should have an awesome time every single day! And if you know why you do what you do and how you do it and what you're going to do, you're going to be awesome! You can live every day awesome. You can meet awesome people. That's literally how it works. I've read probably 30 books in the last 6 weeks trying to figure this out. And they keep saying the same thing. Do your best. No, it's a lie. Be your best. Always. Why would you not? You don't feel great when you don't give your all. Right? Was it like you have a half answer and you get a half question. Yeah, I'm sorry. What's the phrase? You got like a half a answer, a question. You get a half a answer. If you don't give it all, you won't get it all. Because it's bigger than you. You're a role model now. You're in college. I met a bunch of high school students today. They're in 10th grade and they want to go to college. So I bet you when they were walking around campus today, they were looking at all the college students, your facial expressions, your body language, your excitement or lack thereof. It matters. You're a role model. They don't even know you. They won't see you again. But they've walked past you and they've seen how you've acted. And that's their impression of what college would be like. That's their impression of Drexel University. That's their impression of you. You ever met someone and said, damn, I feel like I know that person. And then you come back and like 3 years later, you're like, I didn't meet that person. You remember that when I was there? And then, oh yeah, because I'm Julie, and the captain, yeah. That moment happens. But they didn't forget you. First impressions don't even require contact or verbal confirmation. They're just real. They're right now. They're existing. They're happening. I'm just giving you all I got today because this is my last day. And after this, we have to go into my office, and I have to speak quietly while I'm in my office to not disturb people in the lounge, which I fail at least twice a week, twice a day. All right, so I'm gonna play this last video. Yeah, and it's literally gonna take all the time that we have left. Is golden circle, one page just explaining your how, your why, your what. That's it. There's don't skip any spaces, 12-point font, Times New Roman. Make sure you indent your paragraphs. That's it. If you want a format of how you should do that, talk about each one for a third. Right? I think obviously, some circles are more important than others, but some circles are bigger than others. So I'll leave that last aesthetic up to you. Right? My last statement to you before your class is over. My second to last statement. Thank you again for just allowing me to do this. It's my third class that I've been able to teach since I've been here at Drexel, and I really, really love it. I really appreciate all of your willingness to like put up with my craziness, my random and effective ways, and I think you all are just amazing. I really appreciate that. So I have a poem that I wrote called Beauty, and I like to perform it for you all. And once it's over, you can leave. So beauty. It is in my eye, for I am the beholder. I told her, I come from a long line of hugs and holders, guns shooting the trigger of odor, soulful soldiers of the Sahara's buffalo. I am smart, rich, and loud. Smart for the books rooted in me, rooted in creativity, scream through brass, obscene stories of common challenging Joseph Haydn's concertos. I am smart, rich, and loud. Rich for the books of my library were free to enter my mind a world greater than every city not filled with James Baldwin's Inceptions. I am smart, rich, and loud. Loud, for my voice sends beats into hearts, pumping blood and enlightenment down your spine, and in time you will see my divine beauty. It is in my eye, for I am the beholder, and I told her, I come from a long line of hugs and holders, guns shooting the triggers of older, soulful soldiers of the Sahara's buffalo. Thank you. Class dismissed.